So welcome today. My name, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Gus Chalkias. I am the coordinator of the Technology Demonstration Center here at the Computer Center for Visually Impaired People at Baruch College. Say that fast 5 times. I dare ya, I dare ya. We are now, the demo center started in 2009, so we're now almost at the end of our 4th year, which is really an amazing thing. I just want to, and thank you all for making that happen, because you keep me employed by coming to these things. So today we're going to be doing a session called On the Periphery, and really what really prompted my choice to have this be the subject of this particular session is, over the past couple of years I've been collecting things that kind of work with my assistive technology, aren't necessarily assistive technology devices themselves, but make my assistive technology a little bit more fun, a little bit more easy to use, a little bit more something. They just add a different kind of a flavor to my assistive technology, and I really appreciate that. And while I do want to, I guess, forewarn you guys that much of the technology that I'll be showcasing today is Apple kind of based iOS, iPhone type products, does not mean that this stuff is limited to the Apple realm. The first thing I'm going to show you is actually a PC, but most of the devices that I have paired today can be paired with either a PC or an Apple computer or Apple devices or even Android devices. And the reason I chose to showcase them with Apple is because I believe that the portable Apple devices have the most ease of use when it comes to accessibility. So it's just a little bit easier for me to manage on the scale of what I'm managing up here, because if I didn't even count, but I have close to I don't know, 14 or 15 things up here with me, and hopefully I'll remember to get to all of them, because I've put them all within arm's reach so that I can feel around and see what I've missed or what I haven't missed. So it's just, like I said, little things, little knickknacks. Some of them are not so cheap, some of them are pretty cheap, depending on what we're looking at. And they make my products work better for me, and I'll show you, we'll be working with a bunch of different things today, and then at some point I'll also ask my colleague Lynette Tatum to come up and show you a couple of things that she's been working with, and thanks to her, actually, she's introduced me to a lot of these little extras. So some of the stuff up here is very much due to her willingness to shell out the bucks for these really, really awesome little things.
Oh, I can't do it for everyone, though.
That's right. So I just want to start. So a lot of the stuff that I'll be showing will be displayed on the large screen to my left, or to the center of the room behind me. And so for those of you who can see, I'll be showing it there, but I'll also be describing everything, hopefully, in enough detail so that you can get a kind of understanding of what I'm doing or what I'm holding. The first product I wanted to show you, actually, before I show you products, I want to talk about terminologies. Okay, so there's a lot of the things that we're going to be looking at today have to do with something called Bluetooth technology. So does everybody in here know what Bluetooth is? So there's some yeses and there's some nos, right? So has everybody here used a remote control at some point in their life? Yeah. Okay. Most remote controls, you have to point at something, yes? Yeah. And then something that you're pointing, that remote control sees the remote control and says, oh, okay, channel up or channel down or change to something, right? That technology is called infrared. Okay, and that means it has to be in line of sight. So you point something and you beam a little signal or a little ray of light that we can't see, and the other device sees it and does whatever task you want it to do. Bluetooth works very similarly, except you don't have to be in line of sight to use it. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's a wireless, so Bluetooth is a wireless technology that allows two devices or more devices to communicate with each other, right? But line of sight is not necessarily required. So that's Bluetooth. The next thing that the next terminology or word that I want to talk about is wireless. Do we know what wireless means? Wireless is very similar, right? But usually it works off of like radio broadcast signals or broadcast signals. So there's a signal being broadcast generally in the vicinity for, I don't know, depending on what the transmitter is. Like my wireless transmitter here, I think goes up to like 35 feet or something like that. It goes through walls. So, you know, a lot of places you may have heard, like the Central Park is wired, right? It has Wi-Fi or wireless capabilities so that somebody can go in there with their computer and log into the system and have internet access, right? And Starbucks and other places like that and schools have this type of capability. So that's wireless or wireless technology. Another type of wireless technology that I'll be showing you in a moment doesn't require Wi-Fi connectivity, and I'll talk about Wi-Fi in a second. And this is something that I'm not terribly I'm not like super technical, right? I like to use stuff, I like to play with the toys, but I don't really, if you want me to explain how stuff works, it's mostly like, you know, it works when you connect it.
How it works.
You know, it works, all right? Get off my back. That's usually my response. So there's wireless technology. Like, for example, I have a keyboard here that I'll show you in a second that connects to other devices via a USB hub. USB, do we know what that is? Right? USB is Universal Serial Bus. It's a connector or a port that's available pretty much on every computer these days. And you can connect peripherals, I guess. You can connect everything from your printer to your scanner to your keyboard to your mouse to everything, I think, pretty much except for your monitor. You can connect via these USB ports. And what's special about this particular keyboard is it's a wireless USB port hub. So there's a piece that goes into the computer, and then the keyboard is wireless and works really beautifully. And I'll show that to you momentarily. Let's see, wireless Wi-Fi. Do we know what Wi-Fi is? Okay, Wi-Fi is when you're in a place and you have a signal to, a wireless signal to interact or to reach the internet. All right, so it gives you connection to the internet or to the web, however you want to call it, or as my father likes to call it, the internez. That's what he calls it, and I love it. It makes me laugh. So he calls it the internez, and this is how you connect to it wirelessly. Yes, you can connect to the internet through wires, right? So you can plug your computer, most computers, into what's called an Ethernet cable, and that puts you in contact with the internet directly. But most people nowadays like to have their wireless, you know, oh, I need to walk with my wireless device to the laundry room and then back to my bedroom and then you know, to answer the door and stuff like that. So we're all over the place. Oh, somebody dropped their wireless devices. So those are some of the technologies that we'll be talking about today. And like I said, the devices that we're going to be looking at, we're going to look at speakers, keyboards, remote controls, and docking stations. That's the last word that I wanted to cover. A docking station. Docking station is an object, and you'll see my docking station shortly, which is apparently an object d'art because it's kind of fancy looking. But it's an object that your device, like your iPhone or your iPod or your Android phone or your, you know, any kind of MP3 player actually physically docks with. So that means it physically connects with this device, and then it does different things, like it'll project the sound through different speakers, or it'll allow you to use a remote control with your product. So like, I'll show you a docking station for my iPhone and my iPod. I'm going to be able to plug in a couple of different devices into that momentarily, and we'll talk about that as well. So, unless there are any questions, I will get started, and we will hopefully learn some stuff today.